All right, so I don't know if I'm going to upload this or I'm not going to upload this because I make a lot of videos where I question whether I want to put it out there or not put it out there, and do I want to do this or do I not want to do this, blah, 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 on and on and on, the whole 9 yards, the whole 10 yards. But here is something that I don't talk about too much, but it's something that I have to start being real with myself about. And I have to start being real about my own addictions, my own drug addictions, my own things that I got myself into for certain reasons. And I know that I am the only one that can make the choice. But see, it's not always that simple though, because I have to depend on other people sometimes for stuff. I got to depend on insurance. I got to depend on if I can get into some place, if I do want to go into a rehab or something like that. And I just wish that I would have never allowed myself to do some of the things that I did to myself, but I did. And I can't take it back. There's nothing I can do about it. Because, see, people that do not do hard drugs, they don't understand how hard it is to just get off of these things. You can't just get off of this stuff, because when your brain doesn't have it, you're going to be moody, you're going to be sick, you're going to be frustrated, you're going to be hating life, you're going to be just all over the place. You're going to be like a broken record that cannot fix itself. And I know that is what is coming if I go to a rehab. I don't really want to get into my situation too much. I don't really want to talk about too many personal things, but I'm in a situation, I'm not saying what I do or whatever, I'm not getting into all that because that's my business. And I'm in a situation where either or, it's gonna suck. And the reason why I'm thinking about this right now, see, on my channel, this channel, I want to base this channel just upon expression and creativity and art and music and writing and just all the creative things, creativeness, some kind of craft. I don't really want to make it about this, but this is something that is going on in my life that I can't just keep ignoring it. I cannot keep ignoring it for myself. This has nothing. See, when you are someone that is an addict and you start getting serious about being tired of shit and you're like, I have to make a change, you have to be very selfish for a little while. You have to be. Maybe you have to be very selfish for a very long time, because if you're not selfish and you're not thinking of your own recovery or getting clean and not doing things or getting off of it, you have to focus on yourself. It's like if I'm focused on other people, or I'm focused on what other people are doing or who is doing drugs, and the other thing is, I need to be in an environment where people are taking this shit seriously. And I can't be in an environment where people are doing stuff, because if I'm around it and I know that I have access to something, yet again, I'm not getting into all kinds of personal stuff, but if I have access to it And things like that, I don't really have to explain it. That's just how the drug addict brain is. But I'm not this horrible person because I am an addict. I think everybody is an addict. I think everybody's addicted to something. Unfortunately, I have become addicted to drugs. Unfortunately, you know? And I don't want to be, but I am. And I do take something every day because I have to right now. It isn't that I want to, it's because I have to take it. If I don't take it, I'm going to go through precipitated withdrawal. I'm going to go through withdrawal. I'm going to go through hell for a very long time. And I know this all too well because I did it way too many times before. I did this. I've already went through this. I've already been there. I've done it like the Dr. Dre song. Been there, done that. And I'm dancing in the hall with all the other addicts. Ah, 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 doom, ah. If you ever heard that song, that's how it goes. I'm being a little sarcastic because, see, I don't mean to be anyway when I act like this. It's just, I have not used the way that I usually do for a certain amount of time. And my brain is just doing what the brain does naturally when you don't have certain things in the brain and in the body. And I do take something every day for whatever I'm doing, and I just don't want to have to do this anymore. I'm tired of it. I am sick of it. I don't have the energy to keep doing it. I literally don't. And the whole thing with weaning off of things and slowly doing that, and I'm someone that I do not like the summertime, so this would be the right time, but I'm not saying that I'm going to do it. See, I'm not promising myself, but it doesn't mean I'm lying to myself either. I just don't like the summer, so this would be the best time to make a move for myself, you know. June, July, August, September, October, the next couple months to do that, because my favorite time of the year is fall, winter, and some of spring. But I do not like the summertime for some reason. I don't like the heat. I'm miserable in heat. I just don't like it. I'm not really, if I'm being honest, I'm not really too much of a sun person. And I don't like that. Like, you need sun. You know, especially me, I'm a white person. I mean, I need sun in my skin because I'm very pale, so I need sun. And but I never really been a sun person. I never really enjoyed being in the sun too much, if I'm being honest. I always liked the nighttime, you know, the dark. For some reason, I don't know why, it just covers me. I feel more comfortable. But I don't have a problem with being in the light sometimes and getting some sun. But I can't stand the heat. I can't stand to feel sticky and nasty, and especially when you are someone that is on something, or you're withdrawing, or you're detoxing, or you're weaning down off something. It's not fun. It's not fun. And I don't really want to make my platform or my channel off of this, but why do I care? You know what I mean? Why? See, if I'm hiding this shit, then I'm holding on to it and I'm keeping it in. And for me, that's not a good thing, because I tend to, it's hard to explain. It's like my mind is all over the place. There's just like thoughts, and just my mind is just going kind of haywire. And that's what it does when you are somebody that is either in the predicament I'm in, or you're someone that may understand what I'm saying. It's just how it is, you know? And that's why it's so hard. Like when you see these addicts and shit in Philadelphia that are there and they're leaned over and they're all fucked up and they can't get clean, because they can't get clean. They don't have the proper place to do it. They need the drug. Their brain craves it. You'll be sick without it. It's a fucked up situation. This is why, how can I say this? I believe in good drugs, but not the kind of drugs that we take that fuck us up. But I am for good drugs. I am for drugs that help someone. I am for things that can help an individual to heal or to feel better or something, but not these drugs that when you take them and you don't have them, you go through complete, absolute hell, withdrawal when you're not taking them. I'm not for those kind of drugs, even though I personally love them and they feel good. And if I could do them all the time, I don't know, maybe I would. But see, the thing is, I have been doing these things for so long that people just cannot understand. Your brain gets adapted to this stuff. You get used to it. Your brain is doing something based upon what you've been doing to it for so many years. You know what I'm saying? And it isn't that there are people that don't want to keep doing this shit like me. There are people that they desperately want to stop doing what they're doing. They desperately are like, my goodness, if I could just get back to how I felt, to how my brain was before I started doing hard drugs, before I got into a clinic or on Suboxone or methadone or whatever. It's like you would kind of give your pinky toe and your right thumb and your testicle, if you could, to get back to being normal. I mean, it's kind of like, that's how I feel sometimes. It's like I'd give a kidney to, I mean, I won't want to do that. I'm being metaphorically sarcastic here, but anybody that knows what I'm talking about, and for real, I am talking about drug addiction, but there are other addictions besides drugs that kind of do the same thing, but the person is not physically sick. See, drugs are horrible because the physical dependency comes with it. The physical ailments, the withdrawal, the detoxing, the feeling like shit for days, weeks, months at a time, years at a time. I know what it is to literally get off of almost every drug besides like methamphetamines. I know what it is to get off of benzodiazepines. It is hell. It's a nightmare. I know what it is to get off opiates, heroin, Suboxone, all of this shit. I know what it's like to get off of it because I got off of it before. And if I'm being honest, the thing that makes it terrifying is that it takes so fucking long. That is the thing that scares us addicts, is that it takes so freaking long for the human body to restore itself. Now, there are ways. I've heard about this method called, it's some kind of method where they put you under and they they put you out for like a day or so, and you're in this deep state where you're out of it completely, and they put something in your brain. They fill your brain with naloxone or some other drug that clears all this shit out your brain. But let me tell you something, if you take that while you're awake, it's gonna throw you into a horrible, nasty withdrawal, because I did it before. I did all this stuff before. I'm no rookie with this stuff. I am a pro with these things. I know what I'm talking about more than most people. The only thing I've never been like homeless or in the streets while I was strung out or on drugs or anything. You know, that's where I was fortunate enough to not be in that predicament. Thank goodness, thank God, thank the universe that I wasn't in that predicament. But I don't know. I don't know how to, I don't know. I don't know how to end this video. I don't even really know what even more to say, if I'm being honest. It's just, I am tired of having to depend on something. I'm tired of being dependent on something for my physical way of feeling. That's what I'm tired of. But see, this is just for me as an individual person, and I know there's other people that are going through very similar things. There are other people that are having the same problem, but a lot of people are either in denial about it, or they don't want to talk about it, or they're not ready to talk about it, or and if I'm being honest, I'm not ready to do anything. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of certain things in my life. I'm tired of living a certain way. I'm tired of doing certain things that I'm doing. But if I'm being honest, I don't really want to do any of this shit. I don't, if I'm being honest. And that's the part that's hard to describe. People say, well, you gotta want it to want to whatever. Yes, I do want it. I just don't want to go through the shit that I'm going to have to go through. You see, that is the part that is the toughest, hardest part, is having to admit the shame and all the shit that comes with it, and the things you did or you're doing or you have to do or you're still doing or you think of or how you are. You got to be brutally honest with that shit. And a lot of people, they'll go away, or and I'm speaking for myself. I went away in the past and I wasn't serious about it. I wanted to stop, but I was nowhere near understanding what this shit would do later in my life, how it would end up making me as a person and what it would turn me into and stuff. And it's a very pessimistic thing. And a lot of people, they just don't want to hear about pessimistic shit. But I'm sorry, it's going to be pessimistic when you're getting off of these things, or when you're going through this shit. It's gonna fucking suck. And I know that all too well. I'm even on something to help with this shit, and I still don't feel right. If I'm being honest. So what do you do when you're in that predicament? And it's like, I just understand I gotta go through a little bit of hell again. See, this is what I mean, bro. It's so crazy. Like, things that you really do like and love and makes you feel good, there's consequences to it. That's just life. I don't want it to be like that, but that's how it is. There's freaking consequences, and the consequences suck. They suck, and they suck, and they suck, and they suck. And there's nothing that's going to make it better. There's no magic pill. There's no magical thing that's just going to voila, make it better and make it go away and whatever. You got to go through the shit. And that's what I know. I'm going to have to go through it. And I don't want to go through it. I just, because I know what it is. I already did all of this before. And I'm just saying to myself, God, why do I have to do this again? Universe, creator, if there's anything or there's nothing, either way, why do I got to do this again? Why do I got to go through this again? I thought I learned my lesson, but the human brain never learns its lesson. It doesn't learn. My character and my soul has learned the lesson. Trust me, if it's a cold day in hell, I have learned my lesson if I'm talking about my character and my soul, but the brain does not learn. The brain is always craving. It always needs something. It's always desiring. It's always doing what it does. But how can I do those things without doing things that have bad consequences for me? See, I don't want to have to do things that have bad physically bad consequences for myself. I don't want to do that. And for me to not do that, I'm going to have to be in a clean environment. I'm going to have to be around people that are creative people that are doing things, people that are staying sober, people that are discussing shit, doing therapy or doing something. Like, I can't be around people that are getting themselves into these bad habits, because it's just going to keep doing the same shit over and over and over and over and over and over. It doesn't stop. That's the insanity of drug addiction. That's the insanity of it. And listen, I do not want to even talk about this shit, but I have to talk about this shit. I have to talk about it because I don't have a therapist. I don't have people that I can reach out to that can come pick me up and say, come on, we're going to go here so you can get your mind off of this or do this. I don't have that kind of support in my life. And the way that the world is now, everybody's too worried. And listen, this is a pro and con. This is a paradox. But everybody's too worried about their fucking phones. They're too worried about what everybody else thinks of them. They're too worried about stupid shit. There's really no support system anymore. There's really not too many people to reach out to. There's not enough chaperones. There's not enough people to go to say, listen, I'm going to need something from you for a while because I'm trying to get myself out of this bullshit and I'm serious about it. There's not enough people to go do that with. There's not enough people that have creative jobs to say, okay, you don't want to do that? Come here, I have this. It just doesn't work like that. And I realize, and there's so much that goes into that too, and it's just overwhelming. It's overwhelming sometimes. But I just want to have my own dwelling, my own refuge where I can go and be clean and sober and not be on anything and wake up to my natural state of being. I don't want to have to depend on anything or go somewhere. I don't want to do that anymore. I really don't want to do that anymore. And to get to that point, it is not easy. It's not easy. It's just not easy. And it's like the fear factor in it is having to go through all of the motions, is having to go through things that you don't really want to go through to get to at least some point in your life where you are where you sort of want to be for yourself. You see, I know there is no place that is going to be heaven. I know there is no place that is going to be ultimate hell either. I'm looking for a mid-ground, but I want to have my own place. I want to have my own thing. I want to resonate in my own frequency. I want to resonate in my own art, my own craft, my own creativity, my own abode. I want to have something of my own. It's all that I want in this life. I don't want nothing else. And while doing that, if I can inspire by what I express, so be it. I'm not here to change people's mind. I'm not here to tell anybody they need to or they don't need to, or you should do this or that. I'm done doing that. I am not a savior. I can't really help anybody. Those things, they're too much of a burden in my life. You know, I have to focus on myself, sorry to say. I gotta focus on me right now. But I know that if there was more servitude and support, and there was more people to maybe reach out to with like places to go for drug addiction and other things, all there is 12-step rehabs. That's all there is. And I understand that's what they have, but it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain all of this. But I already went to them, and it doesn't really work for me. It doesn't provide what I personally need. It doesn't provide what I fully need in and of myself to cope the best way I know how to cope in this life, because it's all a coping mechanism. If I'm not coping honestly, and I'm not coping in a way where it's satisfactory, or it at the end of the day I want to wake up to cope that way again, then I'm going to be miserable. And I'm going to be like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I don't want to go here because this is doing nothing to help me cope in a way I want to personally cope, and then I want nothing to do with it. You see what I'm saying? And I'm sorry to say, this is where I'm just, if I'm being honest, if I'm really, really being honest on here, most people are kind of like heavy baggage in my life, because if there is no kind of support or accountability, or people that are doing something in their life that are like, when they wake up, they have something to do, they have a craft or something to get involved with. Like, I don't want to do nothing else. I don't care about anything else no more, because nothing interests me anymore. So therefore, if I'm not in that bowl of soup, then I'm outside of the soup, and I'm like, where's the soup? And I know this is a lot of people out there. A lot of people they're looking for places to go and be able to express what they need to every day, and to have something to indulge in or something to be a part of. And that is lacking. Let's just be honest. It's lacking today. And as bad as I want to be the one to make a center for craft and creativity, I've been thinking about this. Triple C, the Center for Craft and Creativity. That's what I want to do. But yet there's things that do hold me back. I have my own demons. I have my own things that go on, and that's just life. That's for every single person. And I don't care if the rest of the world is in denial. I don't care anymore. If they want to be in denial, they can be in denial. I'm not in denial of shit no more. And I think if I'm someone that cannot call myself out, then that means that I can't even be trusted by others, because I can't even call out my own stuff. I can't even be real with myself. See, when I'm around people that do not call themselves out or do not talk about anything they're going through, and they're always keeping shit to themselves, they don't ever talk about nothing. It's always just judging and blaming and thinking about others. I know that those people are going to do me no good in anything, because there's nothing really there to look forward to or to say, well, that person is kind of like me. That is a reflection of me. That's something I want to wake up to, is somebody that is doing something similar, or something that I can wake up and say, this is something that I want to be involved with. I want to indulge in. I want to build and plant and create and do creative things with. You know, that's all that I can really think of. And in that, there's so many things. It ain't just like, oh, that thing. No, there's a whole world in that. It's just, I think that fear and just a fear of the world is stopping us from really creating the lives that we want to create for ourselves. And I feel like a freaking hypocrite because I'm not really doing all that either. But there's these stupid ass things that are kind of holding me back right now. And I'm disgusted at myself. I don't like this part of me. So therefore, I want to eliminate this part of me. I want to get away from this part of me. But I know that I'm still going to be with me. And I can only be honest with myself. And if the world can't freaking accept that, if the world doesn't want to hear it or whatever, oh well. Oh well. It has to be a me thing. It has to be a selfish thing. It has to be, I am done with this, or I need to do this. Like, I'm saying this to get this in my own freaking brain. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not here to preach to anybody or to seem like I'm some counselor or something. It's just what I need to tell myself, because this is how my brain works. This is how I work as a person. And if I can't express this all the time, and I can't, even if I'm moody, I'm going to be a moody son of a bitch. There's days where I'm a moody mother effer. I get moody really bad because it's the brain doing what the brain does. It isn't my fault that I'm like that. It's just a consequence of what someone like me has been doing for a very long time, but I almost had to do it because I didn't know of the alternative when I maybe should have. You see what I'm saying? And it has nothing to do with like blaming yourself. You just get to a point where you're like, look, I'm tired of living this way. I'm tired of doing this thing. I need to fucking change it. I need to do something about it that I don't really want to do. And that is the hardest thing to do in the world. And I've already done it before. I've already done it. I've already done it many times. And I already know what it's hitting for. I already know the things that are going to come with it. And it just sucks that you have to go through some hellish consequences in order to clean up sometimes, in order to get to a point where you can cope honestly and to wake up and not have to do certain things you might not want to do. It fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. I'm just being honest. And having to say that, it sucks. Because what do we want to do as people? We want to remain in denial. We want to stay in denial of how we really feel and what we're really going through and how we really see things. And we kind of know what we've been through maybe as individuals before. And we're like, I don't want to do that again. I really don't. But I got to. I have to. Because I did it to myself again, because that's what life did. Life did it automatically. So even though I'm responsible for my own actions, Life is responsible for everything happening to me. But I am responsible. I take responsibility for all of my own actions. I don't blame anybody but myself. And see, that, if it's not an honest approach, then it's not genuine for me. And it has to be 100% genuine, or I know that it's going to be bullshit and I'm going to be bullshitting myself. And I can't do that. You cannot do that if you're someone that is trying to change something about yourself. If you're not willing to go into it 100% genuine or honest, you're going to bullshit yourself through it. And you're going to tell yourself shit that you don't really mean. And I mean what I'm saying, but I'm not saying that I have all the strength in the world to do exactly what I am supposed to do or whatever. I'm not saying that I have it all together. I have all the pieces of the puzzle together, because I don't. And that is why when it talks about saying you're powerless, see, us as men, we don't want to admit that we're powerless over certain things. That the way our brains think, and when we do certain things, that we're powerless over some stuff. And that's when the pride thing comes in, and like thinking, I got this. I don't need to talk about anything. I don't need to let nobody know nothing. I don't need to say anything. I can just keep it all to myself. I can do this. I got this. And see, that is almost trickery of the brain. It's like you're tricking yourself saying that. It's very hard to understand if you have never been through some of this stuff. I've been there and I've done it. Go listen to that song, and the epitome of that feeling when you hear that, boom, that deep piano hit. Whatever you feel is not what I'm going to feel, but that reminds me of something I can't explain. Like, the sound of that reminds me of going through hell and somewhat getting out of it, but then going back to it again. Because I'm fucking stupid. My brain is fucking stupid. I'm a freaking idiot. You see, my soul knows this. I know this, but my brain is an idiot. You see what I'm saying? My brain doesn't want to know it. And having to discuss your own brain, or what you're doing to yourself as a person, or how you got yourself into something that you got yourself into, us as men, we don't want to do that. We don't want to say that, oh yeah, I got myself into this as a person. What's up, brother? And we don't want to say, like, I did this to myself. I'm the one that brought about these consequences for me. And having to do that, it sucks. It completely sucks. And having to admit the shame you feel in it, or the way you feel, or just anything, it sucks. We don't want to do it because we're so used to being in denial of things, and that's how I am. I don't want to talk about this bullshit. I just want to be better, live better, do better things. And I don't really want to use the word better, but I just want it to pass. I want it to be over. And I want to do what I want to do. And I want it to be how I want it to be. But it doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that. And having to accept that fact, it's very hard. It's a very hard thing to do. So look, I'm going to end the video on that note. I would highly appreciate any support to the channel, either through donations, anything people can give, or to give the video a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel. You know, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm trying to get this channel monetized because I want to start making a little bit of something off of this if I can. I mean, a little bit of some kind of profit for, you know, being myself and doing what I'm doing, you know. So look, if you're new here, subscribe, because I got a lot more stuff on the way. As long as I'm alive, I'm gonna be talking about stuff. I'm gonna be doing stuff. So I would appreciate if anybody would do any of that, because I am a need machine. I am a person that needs things just like everybody else. So that's what support means. It's just helping someone that needs something like me. I'm a human being that needs. So with that, I hope everybody is as well as they can be. Take care of yourselves, because really not too many people care about too much. There is people to care, but only you can care about yourself the most. Remember that. Always remember that. Treat yourself fairly. Later, everybody.